YouTube. So recently on YouTube, there has been a trend of kind of ranking things in different parts of your life, of like TV shows, movies, things that have happened in your life, that kind of thing. And today I'm going to be doing my own ranking of the Doctor Who 2005 reboot. Hello, editing Tori here. So when I started editing this video, I have over an hour of footage talking about Doctor Who, and when I started to go through the different sections that I talk about in this, I realized I have so much footage that I figured I would just separate them all into separate videos. So you're gonna get a couple of videos of me ranking things in the Doctor Who reboot, so enjoy this one. Didn't think this would be a little like 4-part video series, but I hope you guys enjoy it. If you're new here, hello, my name is Tori Cyclic. I make new videos every Sunday for Cyclic Sunday with other videos throughout the week. If you like what you see, like this video down below and subscribe while you're down there as well. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok in the description at tss6295. Now, let's get into the video. So I've been watching Doctor Who since about 2011. My first episode that I ever watched was Let's Kill Hitler from season 6, and then I got really hooked on it and decided to watch it from the beginning of the reboot. I tried watching some of the old stuff from the 60s, 70s, and 80s and just couldn't really get into it. Also, it's like kind of very hard to find online, so I decided to start with the reboot and got really hooked from there, and it's one of my favorite TV shows. It hit a certain point in, I think, around season 8 where I just kind of stopped watching it. One, because I got very busy with school stuff, because I think that was when I was in college, I'm pretty sure, and then I was trying to like catch back up with different things and like went into season 9, and it just got like very confusing. So I was like, I'm gonna stop watching for a bit and then like watch it at another point. Cut to the pandemic and quarantine and me finding myself with a lot of time to do things that I've been putting off for a while, and one of them was watching Doctor Who and watching all the stuff that I hadn't watched, which was the second half of Peter Capaldi's run and all of Jodie Whittaker's run. So finally got around to doing that. And with this, I decided to start watching from the very beginning. So I watched from the beginning of Christopher Eccleston's season in 2005 all the way up to the New Year's special that just aired last week with Jodie Whittaker. Since I'm going to be talking about everything from the 2005 Doctor Who reboot, I'm going to be putting a spoiler alert on this video. If you do want to watch Doctor Who and you don't want anything spoiled for you, come back and watch this video after you've done that. So yeah, spoiler alert. So I've got an extremely long list of things on my phone to discuss in this video, so let's get into it. How I have this ranked on my phone is ranking the doctors, ranking the companions. I have honorable mentions, which is like pseudo companions slash like important characters, my favorite season, my favorite special, and favorite slash standout episodes, and then some like other additional thoughts as well. Editing Tori here. So this is part 1, which is ranking the doctors. My number 1 favorite doctor is the 10th Doctor, played by David Tennant. I've talked about this a little bit before on my channel as well. I'm a huge fan of David Tennant. He's one of my favorite actors. I think probably my favorite actor in the entire world, also one of my celebrity crushes, but he's just like such an incredible actor, and his seasons were part of what got me so invested into Doctor Who. I just really love his acting, his approach to the character. You can tell how much he loves playing the role, because it's a known fact that David Tennant, when he was a kid, wrote letters to the BBC to try to audition to play the Doctor, and then when he finally got it, it like was an amazing thing. No matter what, he's always going to be my favorite doctor. His seasons have incredible storytelling and incredible characterization, especially from him. He really brings out the best of the writing in the series. In addition, he can also play comedy and drama, anger, sadness, passion, all of that so well, and it doesn't feel like it's weird emotional shifts. Like, it feels like you're watching a person really go through these emotions, and I think that's a really effective part of him as an actor as well as a character, because it really brings a new life to the character. Second on my list of doctors is the 11th Doctor, played by Matt Smith. So like I said before, Matt Smith's season 6 is what got me into watching Doctor Who, and I've always had a soft spot for him because of that, but also I think his seasons were some of the best ones as well. He has a really great interpretation of the Doctor, a little bit more on the comedy and physical comedy side, differently from David Tennant. David Tennant has a bit of that, but there's a lot more of like the anger of who the Doctor is, whereas Matt Smith, you get that from him as well, but you do get a lot more of like the comedic, silly part of it also. Like David Tennant, Matt Smith is really good at showing off those emotional shifts from anger to excitement, that kind of thing, but he really plays the spectrums of like excitement and happiness and anger very well. There is a lot of good in between, but those moments are what really stand out for him. But yeah, I think he brought a really good dose of silliness to the show, because that was kind of needed after all of the emotional stuff that happened at the end of David Tennant's run, and then into season 5 there's a lot of like silly things that happen with Matt Smith's character, and you get a lot of that comedy writing in the show that I didn't really expect from Doctor Who, and I really liked it. I thought it was a nice change and a nice refresher for his seasons. Next on my list is the 9th Doctor, Christopher Eccleston. I really do love Christopher Eccleston's season. I wish that he had more time on the show. I know it was what it was because of like contract agreements and other things that happened on the show, but I do wish that he would come back for Doctor Who. He's never going to, which is really sad, but I really loved his Doctor. He's the Doctor that brought the show back, so that makes him a very important figure in the world of Doctor Who. And a lot of Christopher Eccleston stuff is really dramatic kind of acting, but I think that works very well for his character. There are some funny comedic moments, but his dramatic stuff is what really stands out for him. And even though Christopher Eccleston had the shortest run as the Doctor, he had the most consistent season out of any Doctor. I think this is because the writing of this season was always really, really strong, especially from Russell T Davies for this era. There's just a very clear through line throughout the entire season of who the Doctor is, who Rose is, how they connect. There's also always like good surprises that come out of it too, but I think it had the most consistent storyline throughout the entire thing. Next on my list is the 12th Doctor, which is Peter Capaldi. For me, it took about until episode 4 of his first season, which was season 8, to really get into his version of the Doctor. And once he like found his footing as the Doctor, I really enjoyed all of his stuff, but I feel like it did take a while for me to enjoy his work. Whereas with Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, and Matt Smith, I really liked their interpretations of the Doctor right from their first episode. In addition, with Peter Capaldi's episodes, his episodes felt very long. Every episode of Doctor Who is a 45-minute to hour-long episode, and with Christopher Eccleston, Matt Smith, and David Tennant, they all kind of went by really quickly, and like you would get really invested in the story. Whereas when I was watching Peter Capaldi's episodes, I would like be halfway through and be like, oh my god, there's still like 20 minutes left of this. It's not a bad thing, but it's just something that I noticed. I do really love how they costumed Peter Capaldi. It's different from the quirkiness of Matt Smith. I really liked like the long jacket with the combat boots. Something about his costuming I was just a really, really big fan of. And you can also really tell when Peter Capaldi really found his footing as the Doctor, because that's when his best episodes are, especially in season 8. I also really liked how in season 9 they explained why he chose that face, because if you didn't know, Peter Capaldi played a featured part in an episode of season 4, The Fires of Pompeii, and they explained in season 9 why the Doctor chose to choose the face of Peter Capaldi, of that actor. He chose this face because it was somebody that reminded him to save everybody and to be the Doctor and save people in that way. So I think it was a very good way to explain that characterization. And then my last Doctor is the 13th Doctor, which is Jodie Whittaker. I do think it's a great change for them to have chosen a female Doctor for the 13th Doctor, because it shows a lot of growth within the show, as well as within the perception of who the Doctor should be. Throughout the seasons before that, there was always a bit of like manliness to the Doctor, and the fact that with Jodie Whittaker, yes, she became a woman, but it also was that it was a bit of a gender neutral kind of thing about the Doctor. I like that they were able to bring that in and have it not be so defined about being like, she is a woman now, she can't be a man again. It was kind of like gender's thrown out the window. I do like her costumes because it is a return to the whimsical side of Doctor Who, kind of like Matt Smith's, but it also does bring a lot of like brightness to it, because a lot of Peter Capaldi's stuff was a lot more darker and dramatic kind of thing. I'm not a huge fan of the interior of Jodie Whittaker's TARDIS, as well as the title sequence that they did for her. The way that her TARDIS looks, I'm just really not a huge fan of it. It looks like it's trying too hard to be an amalgamation of everything that we've seen in the past, and it didn't like mesh well together. And for the title sequence, yeah, I just didn't really like how it looked with like the oozing stuff around it, because it doesn't look like she's going through space. A big thing that I really liked about Jodie Whittaker's characterization of the Doctor is that she actually used the sonic screwdriver and like read what she was looking at. Half the time when the doctors scan something, they just like go like this and they know exactly what's happening, and I'm like, you didn't read anything that's scanned, where she literally scans everything, looks at the sonic screwdriver, and then like takes a moment to assess it. I think that's a really strong and specific kind of characterization that the other Doctors didn't have before her, and it shows something a little bit different for her. I feel like Jodie Whittaker's first season had like no true storyline. When I was watching it, I was just kind of like, what is happening here? Why? I don't really care, which I hate to say it that way, but I just like didn't really care about her first season. But I think when she got into her second season, season 12, they had like a much more defined storyline, and it kind of harkened back to the storylines of like seasons 1 through 7, where there was like a clear storyline throughout the entire thing. I also feel like 3 companions is too much. Honestly, she had 3 companions and you didn't get to know any of them. With 11, you get Amy, Rory, and River, but you know Amy, River, and Rory as individual characters, whereas with the 13th Doctor, you get all 3 companions at once and you barely get to know them. And I just felt like it was a detriment to Jodie's doctor as well. You didn't get to really know her with each of these individual people. It just kind of, it felt very random. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you watch Doctor Who, let me know about your thoughts about it in the comments down below. I'd love to get to know what you guys think about Doctor Who if you do watch it. And if there's anything else you'd like to see here on my channel, let me know about that in the comments down below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching DFTBA, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.